Hello, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? I'm back one more time. We coming from the basement, and guess what? We got a special treat for y'all today. A special guest. A lot of y'all heard his last podcast, and they wanted him to come back for shits and giggles one more time. So give it up for Brother Roy, if y'all don't mind. Give it up for Brother Roy. How you doing, Brother Roy?
Oh, we doing all good, brother. All praise be to Allah.
All right, that's good. Last time we had you on here, we was talking about some subjects, topics, and we think there was some good topics, and it was more people that wanted to hear more from you. So if you don't mind, you told us on the last podcast at the end that on the next podcast, which was part two, which was today, that you was gonna bring us a little knowledge and let us know how uh, everything started from the beginning between Chicago and Milwaukee. So if you don't mind, Brother Roy, the floor is yours.
Oh, yes, hello out there, Milltown. It's good to be back. Share some history with you all about the relationship between Milwaukee and Chicago, how the little conflict started, and whatnot. I hope that you brothers and sisters will get the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding of us uniting as a people, trying to upgrade our people and whatnot, and end the riffraff over the misunderstanding and ignorant conflict that was going on. Um, Brothers, Chicago started migrating towards Wisconsin during, we say around late 1970 and whatnot to Milwaukee due to the changes in Chicago about the situation over there with gang violence and whatnot. And a lot of brothers and sisters migrated here because of economical reasons and whatnot, being a better situation up in Wisconsin and things of that nature. But from the street perspective, you had a lot of brothers that came to Milwaukee up under the concepts of these organizations that they belonged to, but they came as renegades and whatnot and began to set up their own little things here in Wisconsin and had a bigger eye, bigger youth situation over brothers that didn't have a full understanding of that, what they represented. So it caused the conflicts and some of the stuff that they was instructing the brothers in and whatnot, and conflicts and things of that nature.
Hey, Brother Roy,
Mm-hmm.
not to cut you off, I got some comments right here, and I got some questions. One brother said, have you ever did any street drugs before?
In terms of what question, what do you mean by street drugs? Selling drugs, using drugs, what?
Have you ever used any street drugs before?
Well, yes, I've been through all that. I've traveled down the roads, had my downfalls, and the use of drugs, selling drugs, and things of that nature.
Okay, because he said there's a lot of young brothers on here struggling with been using drugs, and you being a vet, why don't you tell them a little bit about your past, and maybe you can help save somebody's, from going down that same road.
My downfall in use of drugs started out once I got out in the federal prison in '91. I began to try to sell drugs and things of that nature, and fell victim to the drugs that I was trying to sell and whatnot. And it was a down slope that I wish I had never traveled before. But fortunately, I was able to get myself together and things of that nature.
What was your first drug encounter like?
My first drug encounter was the use of what they called back then. Brothers started out using crack cocaine and what they call putting it on weed and stuff of that nature, and it wasn't a pleasant thing. Uh, but I was able to overcome it and go through treatment and get myself together and fell victim. And once again, it's a process that you have to go through, healing yourself spiritually and whatnot, and stay up under the right programs and get yourself together.
Okay, so what did they call that?
In terms of what called what?
You said y'all used to lace it. What do you call it?
That's called primos. They used to call them primos or momos or whatever back then.
Okay, what was the drug?
The drug was a mixture of marijuana and cocaine mixed together. lace on your marijuana cigarettes, things of that nature.
Have you ever used PCP?
No, I never used anything other than the marijuana and cocaine.
So it was marijuana laced with crack cocaine.
Yes.
Okay, so what was your first experience?
My first experience came about being introduced to the drug to
They want to know what it felt like, what it did to you, your experience, personal, from your personal standpoint.
well, it was more like a rush, more of a rush or a high and whatnot, a 5 second, 10 second high, and things of that nature that gave you extreme and high experience and things of that nature.
So, did you say 5 to 10 second high?
Yeah,
So that's all they get.
that's all you get out of doing crack cocaine like that. It's not a high that lasts for as long as marijuana or something like that would.
Okay, and the next question is, tell us about one of your bad experiences using drugs.
Well, the bad experience is more like a psychological thing to go to. That after you come down your high, you come down like a low depression state of mind, and you start feeling low about yourself and having thoughts of why am I in this situation and stuff. It depends on what you're going through in your life. If things not going well and whatnot, drugs is a thing to have you in a state of mind, either to take you on a high or take you on a low, and things of that nature.
Do you think Charleston White ever used drugs?
Well, I can't speak for something I never seen or whatnot. So my thoughts or what I thought about what he did, I couldn't put that out and say whether or not he did or whatnot because I never seen it for myself.
Okay, well, the last time you was on here, you said that you didn't like Charleston White, but he's supposed to be some kind of advocate for with the youth. So tell us what you think he's doing wrong and where you see him going wrong at far as the youth go.
Well, I just seen a video with Charleston White earlier this morning. I was listening to him speak, and in this interview, he showed none of the buffoonery that he's been displaying lately, and he more articulated a lot of the programs and things and what goes on in this country amongst African people, and how our children is being raised amongst our community and whatnot. So that tells me that this brother has within himself deep knowledge. Uh, the political arena that we live in and whatnot, but choose to use a stereotype platform to get the message across to the people. And from my perspective, I don't think this brother had to put himself on that level to put his message out like that. Just be genuine with who and what he is and what he do, and let his record speak for itself.
So if you was in his position, what would you do different?
Well, if I was in Charleston White position, the connections I have with the grassroots people that he deal with in Fort Worth, Texas, and some of the connections he have with some of the political people, I would continue to stay on that path and continue to reach out to the individual that I'm reaching out to. I would not switch up my program to go down to the level of the people that I'm trying to reach in terms of talking about the gang members, the rappers, and whatnot. I would continue to stay on the path that I started off on and whatnot.
So basically, what you would do is make sure you reach one, teach one.
Exactly.
Okay. I got another question for you. This question says, if you could say something, excuse me, everybody. If you could look into the camera right now and say something to whoever you want to say something to, and who would it be and why?
If I had to send a message out, it would be to the black woman in America in her struggle and trying to raise herself and raise the children that she had been left to attend to and whatnot. Is that we don't understand that the black woman in America goes through so much atrocity in trying to deal with being herself, being a woman, and raising children on her own. That my message would be to her is to continue to stay on your positive side, look within yourself, and seek your spiritual self, and put God in your life first, and have a platform set up in raising your children, put them in positive type of environment, or surround them with positive type of individuals and whatnot, and teach them that they can be better than just being a rapper, a basketball player, a football player to succeed. We must teach our children that working a legitimate job, being police officers, working postal jobs and things of that nature, there's nothing wrong with it. Because back in the days when we had those particular individuals in our community, we had a communication with them, and we was able to respect them for their positions, and whatnot. So my message to the woman is find her divinity within herself and stand firm and seek guidance within the Creator on trying to do what you do.
Okay, and I got another question from North Carolina. Can you tell us about yourself, the young self, the teenage self, or the old man self? If you could talk to each one of those selves, what would you tell each one?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Well, starting off with my young self, I probably wish I had done go back and try to analyze where I started from to where I am now and how did that come about. Well, as I said, I grew up in the southern part of Macomb, Mississippi, after being adopted by my grandmother because of the issues that my mother had being a single parent trying to raise six boys and one girl. So because of that, I was sent to live with my grandparents in Macomb, Mississippi, where I had a beautiful surrounding and whatnot, beautiful upbringing. Because the culture down there is a lot of the children is cultivated in understanding what family is and things of that nature. And they start off learning how to work, whether they're working in the fields and whatnot of the country, living out in the country, learning how to grow food and do for self. And I had a beautiful upbringing until the age of 15 when my grandfather died, and most of the male figures that was in my life have left. So that just left me and my grandmother. And they say a woman cannot, she can raise a child, but she can't raise a man into a child into being a man. That he need that male role model, and when all that male role model was left taken from me, I still had other male role models because we had neighbors who was just like family. That's when I say I believe more in the community than in what we call a hood or a neighborhood. Because in the southern part, you had other family members that lived down from you that looked at you as being one of their child and whatnot, and helped the other families raise their son or daughter and whatnot. So at the age of 15, by migrating back to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I was introduced to a new lifestyle and culture of being back in a family that had no structure within it, and fell victim to the lifestyle of the inner city and getting out in the street trying to hustle to accumulate finance to help my mother and things of that nature out. That led to incarceration and whatnot.
Do you believe that slavery still exists?
Slavery still exists in the minds of African people from a mental perspective. Physically, no, we are slaves physically to a materialistic type of stuff that we cater for, but mentally is where we at, which is the most damaging part of our struggle. So slavery still in part exists in that perspective.
So we slaves in the material world
We slaves in the material world, we slaves in
and
the
mental world.
mental world, yes.
Okay, so what do you think can be done as a whole, as a people, and where do we start?
Well, we start by identifying with people who have study our struggle and whatnot, who are more of see me myself, I'm more of African centric type of person, more of a black nationalist in terms of our cultures and whatnot, doing things that was grass rooted in our history and following the true tradition of our struggle and our rituals and our customs and things of that nature. The custom that we have now is really not a custom; it's a made up custom that was given to us through slavery that we created. So going through that, we have to go to our roots and we have to identify with individual who have studied, who are practicing, who live this lifestyle and give us a guidance on where we're trying to go and how to get there and things of that nature.
All right. I see the people liked it. They liked it. That well, I guess for me, uh, I guess I want to say, uh, me asking where to start. You know, I used to ask myself that all the time. Where do we start? You know, I used to hear people say, "Well, I can't change the world by myself. I'm only one person." And like growing up, I used to think that the KKK was just a hate group that didn't like blacks and minorities. But as I got older, I found out that they were a paid organization, played their